Title: At my wedding. When I tried to sit next to my wife, she whispered, "Not here. Go, sit in the guest section." I froze. Then she turned to her rich ex and said, "You deserve this seat more." He smirked and sat beside her like it was planned. Her family laughed. Mine stayed quiet. So I got up, fixed my suit, and calmly said, "Carry on." What I did next shut the entire ceremony down. Chapter 1. The Seat That Changed Everything. The sun was high, the sky clear, a perfect day for a wedding. Guests filled the elegant venue, dressed in soft pastels and tailored suits. Laughter floated through the air like confetti. My heart should have been racing with joy. Instead, it was pacing with confusion. I adjusted the boutonniere on my lapel, took a deep breath, and walked toward the head table, where my bride was already seated. I smiled at her. She didn't smile back. Instead, she leaned in and whispered, so cold it felt like a slap, "Not here. Go sit in the guest section." I blinked, frozen. "What?" She waved toward a distant table. "You'll be more comfortable there." Before I could process that insult, she turned, locked eyes with someone in the crowd, and her expression changed, brightened. A man in an expensive tailored suit walked forward like he owned the moment. Her ex, the rich one, the one who had once broken her heart. She reached out and took his hand. "You deserve this seat more," she said sweetly, guiding him into the chair beside her. My seat. He smirked, as if they had rehearsed this moment. Her family chuckled. Her mother clinked a champagne glass. My side of the family? Silent, confused. The room tilted, but I didn't. I simply stood up straighter. I fixed my suit, cleared my throat, and said, loud enough for the entire room to hear, "Carry on." Then I walked to the center of the stage, and what I said next began the unraveling of everything they thought they'd planned. Chapter 2. The Mic Drop. I stood beneath the arch of white roses, the same one we were supposed to stand under together. The murmurs died down. Even her smirking ex shifted uncomfortably. I turned to face the crowd. Friends, family, co-workers, and yes, the photographers she insisted on hiring for the magazine-style memories. "Before you continue this beautiful event," I said calmly, "I just want to make a toast." My bride, no, the woman I almost married, laughed under her breath. "This is pathetic," she muttered. I ignored her. I pulled out a small piece of paper from my jacket. It wasn't a speech. It was a timeline, one I had prepared weeks ago, because I already knew. "I'd like to raise a toast," I continued, "to love and betrayal, to masks falling and truths finally stepping into the light." Now everyone was looking at her. "I'd like to thank my lovely bride," I said, eyes locking with hers, "for making it so easy to gather the evidence, for leaving your WhatsApp messages on our shared iCloud, for those weekends you said were girls-only spa retreats but turned out to be rendezvous in Lake Tahoe." The color drained from her face. I turned to her ex. "And to you, Richard. I know about the money transfers, the hotel reservations under fake names, and the apartment lease under your assistant's name." Gasps. A few guests stood up, visibly uncomfortable. Her father took off his glasses. Her mother looked like she wanted to sink into the earth. "I was going to confront you both privately," I said, "but then I realized something. You thought I was weak, a safe man to humiliate, that I'd just take it." I smiled coldly. "So I decided to let you have the stage you wanted so badly, publicly." The bride rose from her seat, her voice cracking. This is insane. You're ruining everything." "No," I replied. "You ruined everything. I'm just giving the ending it deserves." Then I turned to the guests once more. "Ladies and gentlemen, the wedding is off. The bride and her backup plan may proceed however they wish." I walked off the stage, but not before nodding to the venue manager. That was the cue. The real surprise hadn't even started yet. Chapter 3. The Collapse begins. As I walked out of the ceremony hall, the silence behind me shattered into chaos. My phone buzzed once, twice, and then it exploded with messages. I ignored every single one. By the time I reached the parking lot, I could already hear raised voices. My ex-bride was shouting at her parents, who were now blaming each other for not vetting the situation. But I had one last card to play, and I didn't need to be there to watch it unfold. Earlier that week, I'd made a quiet visit to the venue manager, a friend of mine from college. I showed him the receipts, the timelines, the betrayal, and I asked for a favor. The slideshow, meant to play after dinner, was now cued to something else. Right as guests were starting to regain their composure, the lights dimmed, projector on. Everyone turned to the screen. It started off innocent. Photos of our childhood, our relationship, vacations. Then came the switch. Screenshots of her messages to Richard. A video of her exiting his apartment, time-stamped just 2 weeks before the wedding. Audio, recorded from a phone I'd planted in her gym bag, of her mocking me with her friends, calling me Plan B and saying, "He's stable, boring, he'll never leave me. That's the point." People gasped. Someone's champagne glass shattered on the floor. Her father stood up and shouted, "Turn this off!" But the venue manager, loyal as ever, shook his head. The groom paid for full usage rights, no refunds. The final image lingered on screen for 5 painful seconds. "You're the backup. He's the real deal." Text from her to Richard, 3 days before the wedding. She ran out of the hall crying. Richard followed, but not before getting slapped by his own fiancée, who had apparently been watching everything unfold from a private live stream I'd sent her that morning. She didn't know yet, but Richard had been double-timing her too. And just like that, the perfect wedding turned into a perfect exposé. Chapter 4. The Aftershock. I didn't return home that night. Instead, I stayed at a hotel downtown watching the social media feeds light up like fireworks. Photos, videos, whispers turned into hashtags. The clip of the projector reveal had gone viral, captioned, "Groom turns wedding into betrayal documentary. Bride destroyed." By morning, news had spread to her company, a prestigious PR firm. Their brand was built on clean images, trust, and loyalty, not scandal. I'd timed everything carefully. See, a week before the wedding, I'd anonymously sent a package to her HR department. Inside, a burner phone with recordings, screenshots, and a letter detailing how their senior rep had violated their ethics policy by engaging in a months-long affair with a married man and then publicly humiliating her own fiancé. The footage from the wedding? That sealed the coffin. By 10 a.m., she was on leave. By 2 p.m., she was fired. By 4 p.m., she called me 17 times. I didn't pick up. Then Richard called. His voice trembled. "Man, I didn't know she was like that. I didn't mean to." I hung up, because that afternoon I had a meeting with a realtor. The apartment my ex and I were supposed to move into after the wedding, I'd already pulled my name from the mortgage. Without my signature, the deal collapsed. She couldn't afford it alone. The venue? I canceled the check. She was now liable for the balance. And the wedding dress? Rented, under her name, already overdue and billed. She thought she could make a fool of me. But I didn't get mad. I got everything. Chapter 5. Her fall, my rise. 2 days later, she showed up at my office. No appointment, just desperation in heels. Security buzzed me. "There's a very emotional woman here, says she's your wife." "Ex-wife," I corrected calmly. "Send her in." When she stepped into the room, she didn't look like the woman who humiliated me on our wedding day. Her makeup was smudged, hair messy, and for the first time, her confidence was gone. "You ruined me," she whispered. I looked up from my desk, pen in hand. "Number, you ruined yourself. I just helped show everyone what was already there." Tears welled up. I lost everything. My job, my apartment. Even Richard left. He said he didn't sign up for this kind of attention. I nodded. "Sounds like a you problem." She stepped closer. "But we were happy once, weren't we? Before all this? Before the money and the attention? I made a mistake. I let it all go to my head." I leaned back. That mistake was trying to replace me at the altar with your ex, on the one day meant to honor love. Do you really expect pity? I expect forgiveness, she said quietly. A second chance. Maybe we could rebuild. I stood, walked to the window behind my desk, and stared out for a moment before turning back. Forgiveness is for people who slip up. You designed betrayal, practiced it, rehearsed it. I picked up an envelope from my desk and handed it to her. She opened it slowly. Inside was the annulment, already signed, no spousal support, no ties, nothing. You'll be free by the end of the week, I said, and I'll be at peace. She blinked. So that's it? You're just going to walk away? I smiled. Number, I already walked away. You just finally caught up to the silence. Chapter 6. The final blow. A week passed. The annulment was finalized. I moved on, publicly, powerfully. But the real twist? It wasn't over yet. You see, I'd recorded everything. Her cruel whisper, the smirking ex, her family's laughter. My best man had caught it all on video from his phone, horrified but smart enough to hit record the moment things went wrong. And with my permission, he shared it. It started on a small Reddit thread. My wedding turned into a humiliation circus. Here's what happened. Within hours, it was viral. TikTok got hold of it. Twitter exploded. Reaction videos flooded YouTube. The world saw my ex-bride's smug betrayal and my cold, classy exit. The public didn't just support me. They worshipped the way I walked out, suit crisp, dignity intact. She lost her job again, not for the first time. Not directly because of me, but because she'd become a meme. The meme? Image of her whispering at the altar. Caption: he deserves this seat more. Bottom text: he did at the unemployment office. Meanwhile, I signed a publishing deal. Wedding Day Wipeout: How I Reclaimed My Power became a best-selling memoir in the betrayal revenge space. Podcasts, interviews, book tours. I was no longer just the guy humiliated at his wedding. I was the man who turned it into a movement. As for her, I heard she moved back in with her parents. The rich ex bailed. Her friends vanished. The only thing she gained that day was a lesson. And me? I got everything I ever wanted. Peace, respect, and poetic justice. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Tell us what you would have done in the comments below. Like the story, share it with someone who needs this energy, and subscribe to Lauren's story for more jaw-dropping tales of betrayal and justice. Because here, every lie has its reckoning, and every betrayal finds its shadow. Stay sharp, stay strong, and stay tuned.